Today, we will be covering classes and objects. If you do not already know, Java is an object-oriented programming language, which is why this lesson about classes and objects is crucial to learn and understand. First, let's tackle classes. A class is just a blueprint or a recipe for something. Think of it like a recipe for a cookie. It tells us what a cookie is made of and how to make one. Let's discuss the syntax of a basic class. Follow along on the screen. This is a very simple and basic class, but it serves as a good learning example. At the top, we declare the class as ClassDog. We then create two variables as attributes, name and age, to use throughout the class. Then we have a method, which is an action for this case, as our class can do a bark, which prints the name attribute and says woof right after. However, this class by itself does not do anything. To access this class and the bark method, we need to create a dog object. Thus, let's talk about objects. An object is just a real version of the class, how you would use it. It's like baking an actual cookie from the recipe, the class. Let's look at how to create a dog object in our main class and method. Note, usually you want to run all your code in your main class, which gets created when you open a new project on wherever you code. The main method is where you want to actually run your code, even when you create other methods. Let's look at the syntax on screen. What we did here is create a new dog object called myDog. And if you notice, the syntax is similar to when you create an array list, and that is because an array list is actually an object. We then gave it a new name and age, then called the bark method. Finally, let's discuss constructors. Instead of setting the name and age of myDog after creating it, we can use a constructor inside the class to initialize values. Let's see an example first. Just the constructor. Just imagine this in with the rest of the class already shown. We create the constructor by saying public dog. Similar to a method, the parentheses indicate whether when you create your object, if you want to set your attributes or not. Inside of the parentheses, we put string name and age, which are the same names as our existing attributes, but they do not have to be the same name, just same data type. Next, we set the values of our variables. This refers to the attribute already created before the constructor, and we set it equal to the variable that is in the parentheses. Let's now see how it looks back in the main method. Follow along on the screen. Note, you can create multiple objects in the same method. Here are some other details to know. When you create the variables at the top of the class, you can make them private so as to not be able to refer to them outside of the class, as seen on the screen. Next, you can have as many methods as you want in your class. And finally, you can use other classes as objects in your class. There you go. Now you know the basics of classes of objects. Go out there and code.